Jim, back to Tannadice. Been a while, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. It's been too long, to be perfectly honest with you. Going on probably best part of a month, I think, since we last played in front of our home fans. So we're really looking forward to being back there. We've had some very difficult games on the road, albeit came through the majority of them with really positive results, and we're all looking forward to getting back to Tannadice in front of a really good crowd. I'm led to believe there's going to be in excess of 10,000 supporters there on Saturday, so a great turnout and hopefully a memorable performance to go with it.
Can I ask you about the football calendar then, Jim? Because it seems to be you go 2 or 3 weeks, then you're off for 2 weeks because of the international breaks, and there's another one coming up again. I think that'll be the third one since August. How upsetting is that in terms of you trying to do the best domestically for your club, but then every 2 or 3 weeks you've got players disappearing all over the world?
Yeah, I think it can be frustrating, and I'm pretty sure every other club manager out there would say the same. But ultimately we know what the fixture calendar looks like. At the start of the season, we know that these games internationally need to be squeezed in somewhere along the line, and that's just the way it's fell this season and every other season. It is difficult to try and get a bit of momentum. And I think the last couple of international breaks, we've actually had really good positive results prior to it, and when you're on a good run of form, like any manager would say, you want the next game to come along pretty quickly when the guys are in good spirits and there's confidence within the group. So the couple of week layoff, sometimes it can come at a good time and other times not so much, but it's part and parcel of being involved in the top league. You just have to accept it. It does have an impact then on the type of training that you can do, because you've got half a dozen players away on international duty, which again is great for the individuals, and it's great for us as a club to have so many guys away during these international breaks, getting recognition from their countries. But yeah, it certainly can be a disruption along the way.
It's changed the face of football, Jim, isn't it? Because it's happening all over. Talking down south about players potentially going on strike because of the World Club Cup next summer. It's some player. Callum McGregor's retired now from international football. He regularly played over 50 games a season. Yeah, it can be quite a strain on players.
No, I definitely think it can be. Yeah, and I think the volume of games now that these top players are involved in is quite incredible. There is no real recovery process, and even the bigger clubs now, when the summer comes around, they sometimes go off and do a couple of weeks in Australia or China or whatever. They've got commercial deals on the go that they need to go and fulfill. So I would imagine at the really top teams, when you're involved in all competitions domestically and then on European fronts, and then your players, because of the quality that you've got, are away involved in international duty, it must be a huge strain on those types of guys. And even just from our own perspective, we've had 5 players away on international duty this time round, and obviously Richard O'Dada is the other side of the world. He's travelled about 10,000 miles, I think, in the last kind of 4 or 5 days, and the recovery process from that, the different time zones, it can be extremely fatiguing, I suppose, for these players. But the normal person out there listening to this would probably say, "Oh, stop moaning about it and get on with it." And they all get paid enough money, but unfortunately, they are only human beings at the end of the day, and they do need the correct amount of time to recover. Because I think that's why you often see a lot of these players picking up serious muscle injuries, because unfortunately for them, they don't have enough time to recover in between games.
Hibs on Saturday. What have you made of them this season under David Gray? I think the Hibs fans would say the jury's out at the moment. I think, and there's a lot of doubt about the way the club's moving forward.
Well, on a personal level, I've got a lot of time for David Gray. I don't know him a great deal, and I wouldn't say we're friends or anything like that, but I always enjoyed playing against him. I loved the way that he did play. He was a real team player, a great leader for Hibs on the park. And really, I suppose it would have been the dream opportunity for him to be given the job on a full-time basis. So I'm pretty sure the supporters are still behind him, and will give him as much time as possible to make his own impact on things. I think they've done some really good recruitment business in the summer to add to the already good quality group that they had, with the likes of Newell and Boyle and Johan and one or two others there. So they've got a very good squad. Obviously not on a particularly great run at the moment. I think it's 1 win in 7. I think up to now. So obviously they'll be looking to put that right at the weekend. But from our own perspective, we try and focus on ourselves. We're in a very good place at the moment, and we've been on a good run in the league. We've only had 1 defeat up to now in a really narrow, tight game against Rangers, and we want to build on the good form that we're showing up to now.
Ross Graham is out for a few weeks, so isn't he?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got a few question marks over a number of key players this weekend. We've obviously Louis Moult and Christian Trapanovsky missed the last game against St Mirren. Ryan Strain's been a long-term injury, and Ross Graham now has been added to that list. Unfortunately, just tweaked his hamstring against St Mirren. It's nothing serious. It's not something that's going to keep him out long-term, but he probably will miss the next 2 or 3 fixtures, which is a blow to us as a group. And then there are, as I said, 1 or 2 other players within the squad at the moment that we've got doubts over. So I'm not going to give too much away here today, but we'll have some big decisions to make tomorrow prior to the game on Saturday.
Jim, what has been the training focus during the international break for the players that weren't away overseas with their countries? Did you hold a bounce game while that was on?
In the last international break, we did have a behind closed doors game because we had the numbers available to us. Unfortunately, in this international break, we haven't. On Monday there when we trained, we had 9 fit players. So obviously 5 of those 5 players away on international duty, and then the rest, unfortunately, in the treatment room. So the medical team have been working really, really hard behind the scenes to try and push 1 or 2 of those players along and try and make sure that they are available for this really important game coming up, and then to make sure that they're available for the weeks after that, because we've got a really tough run of fixtures coming up in the league. And
you touched on Adada and the sort of distance that he has travelled to perform in front of his country, with his country, but he obviously had some vital minutes with Kenya. Do you hope that that spirit and performance there comes back and benefits you and the squad here at United?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we brought Richard in the summer, because we really believe in him, and we think he's still a very young player, but with great potential, and he showed that at his previous clubs. Obviously a key figure for Kenya, plays near enough every minute for them anytime selected, and had 2 really important games against Cameroon last week. So he's a player that we really like. He's getting used to the Scottish game in terms of training, building up that intensity. The league that he's been in previously was a lot slower tempo, and we just need him to try and speed his game up a little bit, which we're seeing that happening in training. But just like you touched on there, given the fact that he's done about 10,000 miles in the last few days through all the different time zones, and haven't played 2 games in the space of 3 or 4 days, then we have to be fair to him as a player as well. But he is one that we're really excited about, and one that we're looking forward to getting in the team at some point. He's been unlucky because of the form of the players who have been picked ahead of him at the moment, but his opportunity will definitely come, and I think the Dundee United supporters and myself are all excited to see how he does.
And the huge game at Hibs at home with that home crowd on Saturday. I mean, how are you looking to approach that one, and the fact that it's back at home, the difference in spirits that brings with it as well?
Yeah, I mean, look, as I said, we're all really looking forward to getting back to Tannadice and playing in front of our home fans. There's going to be over 10,000 of them there cheering us on Saturday, and that in itself, I think, tells you that they're enjoying what they're seeing at the moment. Their team is sitting in the top half of the table. We've only had 1 defeat in the league up to now, and we want to continue on that good form. And they've played a huge role, as I've said in previous press conferences, not just this season but last season as well, in helping us get promoted. And we want to excite them. We want to put on a good performance for them, and hopefully get a positive result off the back of it.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks.
You've mentioned about the current injuries that are at the club, stretching it a little bit in some areas from there. Do you still feel that there's sufficient depth in the squad that you have, or do you feel you might need to look at plugging some of these gaps?
No, I mean, look, we do have a lengthy list in terms of injuries at the moment, but they're not, some of them aren't quite as serious as others, and we expect, to have a few players available in the next couple of weeks, which will obviously strengthen the squad. We don't carry the biggest squad in the league in comparison to some of the other teams. When everybody's fit, we've got about 20, 22 players, but obviously when you start taking 3 or 4 players out of that squad, then it does all of a sudden look a little bit stretched. But I'm confident with the players that we have available to us that we'll be able to put a strong starting 11 on the pitch on Saturday, and then hopefully in the build up to the Aberdeen game we might get 1 or 2 others back and available. But we certainly won't be looking to do any more recruitment at this stage. We're very pleased with the work that we've done in the summer, and when injuries or suspensions occur, then it always gives one of the squad players an opportunity. And up to now, the squad has been tested, and those players who have had to come on during games have made significant impacts, and we hope for the same on Saturday.
Just focusing on Dundee United, do you have any concerns going into the weekend game against Hibs?
As manager, you've always got concerns. You've obviously approached the game looking at every aspect of it. We focus on ourselves first and foremost, and we remember why we've got the positive results that we have, and I believe that's down to the structure of the team. I believe it's down to the understanding of the players and the roles, what's been asked of them. We've been very hard to beat this season. Defensively, our record is up there with the top teams in the league. And so it's down to hard work, commitment and concentration defensively, and then in possession I think we've always carried a threat. But we respect every opposition, we analyse every team we play against, and we recognise the strengths that Hibs possess as well, with the quality players that they have available to them. So it's about trying to get the balance right between being a good organised defensive unit, but also being a very positive and attacking minded one as well.
One of the positives, I would think, for yourself has been the attitude of the players during games, the Kilmarnock game, the St Mirren game, just never ever giving up. Is that something that's different from last season, or is there something else with that?
No, it's something that we've tried to drip into the squad, since coming to the club, really. That change in culture, that understanding that if you do go a goal or 2 behind and there's still time on the clock, that we don't throw the towel in, we never give up, we keep going. We've showed that against Kilmarnock, 3-1 down with only a few minutes left on the clock, and managed to take a really valuable point. And I think the players deserve a lot of credit for that. I think we've shown great resilience at times this season, against some really good teams. Apart from Celtic, we've played the rest of the top 6 and performed really, really well against them, and beaten some of them along the way. So I think we have to take a lot of confidence from that. But the Hibs game on Saturday will bring up its own tests and its own challenges, and we can't lose sight of what that hard work ethic and that teamwork and that team spirit means. And if we apply ourselves in the right way, then we give ourselves a good chance.
Almost that month you mentioned about from the last home game at Tannadice. Looking forward, are you hoping for less of these runs that are as long as that and more concentrating on the home ones?
Yeah, I mean, look, we know how the league calendar looks, and obviously then that Motherwell game was drawn out of the hat for us to play away. So we've got a few home games coming up now that we can look forward to, and starting on Saturday, hopefully putting on a good performance in front of a really good home support.
David, first of all, can I just ask you, how was the international break for yourself? There was some great wins in there, a couple for North Macedonia. So how are you feeling off the back of that?
Yeah, it was very positive. It was a great achievement for our national team. We are first place in the group with 2 more games to go.
And there was a goal in there for Bojan Miłoski. Are you glad that he gave Scottish football a strong recommendation for yourself?
Yes, definitely. I'm very happy for him and for his performance here in Scotland, and then obviously his great move this last summer to La Liga, to Girona.
And the squad here at United, it's building up a real momentum at the moment, and off the back of that sort of international break there, do you think, obviously you want that run to continue, you won't want it to stop going into the game against Hibs this weekend?
Yeah, exactly. I think we've had a very good start of the season, and we want to strive to achieve that consistency. So we will just continue to to work hard as we are doing and approach every game with the intention to win, to achieve the 3 points.
And is that sort of belief and confidence they're really important in growing in the squad right now? I mean, going forward.
Yes, definitely. I think we have very good reasons to believe that we can compete against and win any team in this league, as we've shown up until now.
David, can you tell us about your journey here in terms of why Dundee United? Why was this the next step in your football career?
Yeah. Well, my first answer to that question is why not? No, why wouldn't one want to come to a country like Scotland and a football league like the Scottish Premiership, and obviously a historical and big club like Dundee United? So for me, it was a no-brainer. Among the other options that I had were not as good as this one. So it was very clear for me. I really wanted it.
What were the other options? I mean, because Scottish football, we think a lot of it here, but it tends not to have the best reputation outside of Scotland.
From here, that's the perspective. Well, from abroad, it's different. It's very highly valued, and I think it's a very good stage, a very good scenario from where footballers can develop and then also move on to higher levels.
It's like it's in people's blood, football in Scotland.
Yeah.
Is that the same with you?
Yes, of course. I mean, this is where football originated, no? A long time ago, they say these territories, and it's a dream for a lot of players to come to play here in the UK, and for me it was no different.
How much of been playing here has it been making news back home for you, for your family, etc.?
I mean, we are all very happy. My father himself, he had a dream to come to play here in the UK at some point in his career, and he's happy for that. My family as well. We've all moved into this great country. We were looking forward to have this experience, and it's not disappointing so far. We are settling down pretty well, and we are loving every part of it. Just waiting to see how we cope with the winter, and then that's how. Yeah.
Was your father a player?
He was, yes.
Who did he play with?
He had a long career. He played in different clubs and countries as well. He started his career in Vardar, the biggest club there in Macedonia. He was a national team player for ex-Yugoslavia as well. Then after the war, he continued with the Macedonian national team. Played in Greece, in AEK Athens. He played in CSKA Sofia in Bulgaria. He also played in Japan, and then he was playing in Spain for a couple of different clubs as well.
Well, that's some career.
Yeah,
were you nomadic as well? Were you travelling around?
Exactly, yeah. Since the very early age, we've been traveling around the world because of his career, until at one point my mom said, we are staying here in Spain. If you want to continue traveling around, it's okay. And that's how we stayed from the age of 6, 7 in Spain.
So you're living out actually some of your father's dreams and aspirations by coming to Scotland and playing not only at Tannadice but also at Celtic Park and Ibrox and Tynecastle, Easter Road, these stadiums.
Yes, in some sense, yes. It's very interesting. There are some very interesting similarities between his career and mine when it comes to countries at which we happen to had the chance to play at. So yeah.
In terms of ambitions for this season, what are they for you and for the club now?
Well, for me personally, I always try to aim at the highest possible that we can achieve. So for me, it's going to be obviously to fight for those top 3, top 5 position, or the playoff like it is here, the first 6. And for the club, I think now, as I said earlier, we have good reasons to believe that we can achieve higher objectives this season after this good start.
What's your father's name?
Boban Babunski.
Babunski.
Yeah, Boban.
And is he well known back in Macedonia?
In those territories, in ex-Yugoslavia territories.
Has he been here to see you play?
Not yet.
Coming soon?
Not yet. If we sort out the visa for him, which is also a very complicated process. Yeah. but hopefully sometime. Yeah.
Brilliant, we wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Has the fact that Christian has come in this season as well, has that helped you in your settling in at Dundee United?
Yes, definitely. I think I have experience traveling around and being in different places and cultures, so I think I might have been a greater help to him, because he's also younger than me, but definitely speaking the same language and being from the same country, it helps ease all the process of adaptation for both of us.
You're a player that can play in many different positions. You're quite versatile in where you are. Do you feel that that's something that benefits you both here at Dundee United, but also with the North Macedonian team?
Yes, over the years I have strived to become an ever more complete player that can dominate all phases of the game, both offensively and defensively, and this allowed me to be used in different positions, in different systems and formations and styles of play as well. And here in Dundee United, I think we've shown to be also a very versatile team that we can adapt to different kind of systems, and in response to how our opposition plays, we can also adjust to that and be as effective.
You've had the opportunity now to have played against most of the teams in the Scottish Premier League. How does it reality compare with your expectations before you arrived?
Well, I think it's a very competitive league, to be honest, and there might not be that much difference between the majority of the teams, with a few exceptions. Obviously, like Celtic, and Rangers, but we played against Rangers, and I think the second half we even felt that we are a team that can even achieve victories against the biggest clubs here.
And it's Hibs that you face this weekend at Tannadice. How good will we get back in front of the home support and on that pitch?
Yeah, it's been a while since we haven't played home, and we are really looking forward to play in front of our fans. Tannadice, which is they always create a very nice atmosphere, and we hope we can use that to our advantage and go out there and grab the 3 points.